Please, there is no need reading the statement. We all have copies. So just proceed. Just proceed with your apology.
Mr. Chair, the truth is, despite this, I was in fact working on an article concerning this very issue. And that the context of the post were reflections that I were having in connection with so many issues that I found as part of my research. And if the committee would allow me, I'm able to provide that again, context and clarity. I say unequivocally, Mr. Chair, on Monday evening, I watched the current majority leader on City TV's point of view. He spoke about concerns he and others has raised in the past regarding improper approaches that have been made to the committee. I am aware that an ad hoc committee was set up by the House which found that because it did not provide documentary evidence of improper approaches, he should apologize. Today, he stands elevated among his peers. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Manasseh Azure published a book, The President Ghana Never Got. This was his words in the book.
Please, are you going to render apology? We are not interested in what Manasseh has said in the past. Please. Please.
Mr. Chairman, I crave your indulgence for context and clarity. I crave your indulgence for context and clarity as to why my post. In the book, Mr. Manasseh said, Muntaka never mentioned that the only cash that came to the appointment
Mr.
committee...
Oliver Baka, Vormawor, are you going to do justification or you want to render an apology and we close this meeting?
Mr. Chair, I have no intention to lecture the committee. If the committee resolves that the context of the post is irrelevant to the commission, the question here, I'm happy to proceed as the committee has directed. Now,
proceed as the committee has directed.
Mr. Chair, I am saying here clearly that my post was not intended to disparage members of the committee, and I have not intended to say that members of this committee have received or demanded bribes from various individuals. At no point was my statement intended to communicate same. And for those reasons, I apologize. Mr. Chair, the reason why I have left the post on and not deleted it, in fact, I did contemplate it, was because I saw that the words had been twisted and that it became imperative on me that I maintain the post in its original form. That if I was questioned on it, reference can be made to be able to verify it. This is the reason why it wasn't deleted.
So now that it's been resolved, will you want to pull it down?
Mr. Chair, I am happy to. As the conversation has generated, as indicated, and the clarity has been brought to it, I'm happy to.
Sure. You are hereby advised to also do a disclaimer. A disclaimer of what you claim you are not responsible. Then we can pick it up from there.
Most grateful. I reiterate again categorically, and for all intents and purposes, as I have done 4 days ago and continue to do, that I have at no point uttered those words. All I know about the statement is that appeared on an MPP Projects Bureau Facebook account. That's it. I don't know the source of it.
Thank you very much. You may now proceed to let us have copies of your disclaimer at the various platforms.
Most grateful, my chair. I'm happy to provide same.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, the apology.
Chairman, thank you for the opportunity. To our friend Oliver, for me, I think what you've done, if you follow it through, it will help all of us, including you. So please proceed as you have said to do the needful. That's all about it. Thank you, Chairman. You may proceed.
Thank you very much. Learned Counsel, your client, having apologized, is hereby discharged.
Very grateful. the patience and tolerance.
Thank you very much for attending upon the committee and clarifying issue.
Yeah.
My hope and the prayer is that the media would equally handle this, to use the word, with equal prominence as how the allegation was handled. Thank you all.
Persons of the appointment committee, which he say he did not do that. I will try, and after that is going over to speak to some of the committees who will try and see if we can get some interviews, try and speak to some members of the committee to get some understanding of what they make of all the things that have happened here with Oliver Vormawor ultimately apologizing to the members of the committee for this. Let me talk to Honorable Kwame Gakwe. Honorable, I mean, you've seen what has gone on here. Do you think that, well, first off, what do you make of the process, how things have been handled?
Oh, I mean, I think it went on well. It is good. I mean, you don't crucify people. I mean, you ask. You have to hear from the person. So it is in the right direction. There were two posts. He admitted one, that he posted it, and the other one, he didn't. So the one he have posted and he have a render and unqualified apology, I think that is fair.
But do you think the Parliament of Ghana does itself good when it goes on some of the... There are also who are saying that maybe this entire process wasn't necessary, and that the committee chairman yesterday came and said the committee doesn't take any money from anybody. They did ask nominees. The nominees said they don't see the committee, they don't pay any money. So
no perceptions. When they continue, it's become reality. So you need to clear the air, because Ghanaians now are very vigilant, and then we can't allow this to fly and then actually tarnish the image of Parliament as well as the committee members. I don't think that is right. And then issues of money issues is something President Mahama have actually instituted us from. So in our view, this is fair. The whole world have seen it. Nobody is taking any money from our own colleagues. We are doing due diligence, the work and the nominees. So that's fair.
Right. Honorable Gakwe, thank you very much. Let me try and see if I can speak to Patrick Boama, a lawyer and also a member of the committee. Honorable,
somebody left his phone.
Yeah. Honorable, okay. Honorable, you've heard this. You've spoken to the Oliver Vormawor has apologized. Yes, we are live on Joy News. Honorable, what do you make of the apology that has been offered, and ultimately it settled this once and for all?
Well, I think it was an afterthought. He never believed that the committee was going to take the matter up. We will not begrudge him for now. The committee will look into it. He's apologized. His apology has been accepted. It doesn't mean that a member cannot raise it on the floor for the proper referral to be made to the Privileges Committee.
Would you consider that maybe chilling on speech, given the conversation that are having on social media, people venting their spleen on what some of the things that have happened? Do you think that this may chill speech, and that maybe Parliament would not want to be putting out an image that they don't support the citizens sharing what they've heard or what they think?
Well, it's not a case, because if we don't go to the root of this matter, another day somebody else will come up, make a serious allegation against a member of Parliament or any institution of state, and know that, oh, I can just go there, having defamed them, to go and render an apology. We need to stop some of these unnecessary allegations being made against very important people of state and any other person in this country, because reputations are at stake, integrity is at stake, people's images are at stake. Our kids read everything on social media, and your kid will come home and say, oh, Daddy, I saw that your committee, they say you're going to take some money, when indeed you haven't done that. So it's very important that we protect our hard-won reputation.
Well, last thing before you go, and I know I need to lay this background. It's good for the conversation. You are one of the most consistent members of parliament. There's absolutely nothing in terms of your reputation. It's just clean and intact. But when it comes to parliament itself, this is not the first time some of these points have been made regarding appointment committee and alleged allegations of bribery. In fact, the current majority leader has said something of that sort in the past. Manasseh Azura in his book, and that has not been contested by Joe Wise, who used to chair this committee for so many years, and Muntaka Mubarak. They claim that the presidency used to funnel money to the committee, and also, especially for members who are unable to do so. This is something that a chairman of the committee told the journalist, who was published in his book. It has not been recanted, as the book is still in circulation. So it's a perverse claim and allegation that is out there. None of them has ever been made against you, ultimately, obviously, because everyone sees the kind of work you do here on the committee. But that claim is out there, and Parliament itself hasn't dealt with it.
Unfortunately, I don't speak for Honorable Joe Wise. Unfortunately, I don't speak for Honorable Muntaka. But I haven't served on this committee for some time now. Nobody has approached me or offered me anything, because it's very unethical, especially when the person is a member of parliament, and by virtue of the provisions of the constitution, he's qualified. That is why people were raising issues about the Greater Accra Regional Minister yesterday. Number two, even if the person is not a member of parliament, on what grounds are you going to demand something from that person to vet him? How will the person see you out there speaking well, talking about the goods of the country, representing the country abroad? They say, oh, this person, during my vetting, I went to give him or her money. Come on. Your image will be in tatters, and it's not very good for our country.
Thank you very much, Honorable Patrick Bama. Yeah, Honorable Patrick Bama, Member of Parliament for Okaikwe Central, speaking to me about what has gone on here. There are persons who've raised real concerns about the work of the committee. And you heard me there put to Honorable Patrick Bama some of the issues that have come up. Specifically, Manasseh Azuriawone's book, where the claim in the book is that the chairman of the committee at the time, Joseph Oseusu, at the time he was also first deputy speaker, and Muntaka Mubarak had confirmed that money did come from the presidency to this committee in line of their duty. It's a conversation that has gone on. It's been made several times. And for those uninitiated, in 2017, the current majority leader, Mahama Yarega, did make the claim that at the time, a nominee, the ministerial nominee for energy, in the person of Boachene Jako, actually did give money to be given to the NDC side of the committee to allow them to give him easy passage on the committee. A special committee was set up for that purpose by the then Speaker, Right Honorable Michael Quay. Mahama Yarega did stand by his comments at a committee that was set up in this very room. He was backed up by Honorable Samuel Okujeto Blackwell at the time, that it was indeed true that money was given to be given to them. It became such a big razzmatazz in the country, and ultimately it was resolved. Mahama Yarega had to apologize on the floor. He had to give a qualified apology. And I remember exactly what he said. He said, Mr. Speaker, if you say I should apologize, then I will apologize. And then that case just went over. Also recently, there was Honorable Andy Apiakubi, who did also say, in fact, there was a time a very big, large section of the NPP MPs who did say that a businessman did try to influence them at the time when they were making the claim about Ken must go. The special prosecutor ultimately took that matter up. The MPs in question refused to cooperate. So when it comes to allegations of bribery and all this, it's been swelling a little bit around Parliament, but not much of that has been gone into, and these issues have gone on and on. And so, for recap, for those of you just joining us, Oliver Vormawor appeared today with a high-powered legal team led by Nana Atodadzi. Nana Atodadzi used to be the chief of staff to former President Jerry John Rawlings. He led the legal team for Oliver Vormawor. There were two posting questions. One about generally referring to the appointment committee and whether or not they take money from nominees before they vet them. And then there was one that directly referred to NDC members of the committee and the chairman Bernard Ahiafo. Oliver Vormawor categorically denied making the post referring to the chairman and NDC members of the committee. Said he didn't make that. And in fact, there is no quotation as to him making that. It's a news card of an online publication called Ghana Today that claimed that he made that post. He said he did not say that. And then there is a second post which is still live on his Facebook as we speak, which he explains through his lawyer, Nana Tudazi, that he only said that by virtue of what he had heard, that certain persons purportedly affiliated to the committee were demanding some of this money from the committee. But ultimately, he's had to apologize and said he did not at any point in time attempt to disparage the committee. The committee has now discharged him, and he has since left, and all these matters have come to an end. The committee has discharged him. Today, they was expected to vet up to 5 nominees. They haven't vetted them. But let me, before you will take it over back to the studio, let me talk to Honorable Victor Kojoga Daudu. He is part of the legal team of the Oliver Barker Vormawor, and ultimately they've come in here and they've done their job. Ultimately, as lawyers, you are satisfied that you've been able to get the committee to drop whatever charges they intended to press against Oliver. That's certainly something you are excited about.
Yes, what can you do for your client? What you do as a lawyer, what you do for your client is to make sure that your client does not get into trouble. What you do is to make sure that damages, you are able to make good things so that your client is protected. I think that the magnanimity of the committee, we appreciated that they took apology unconditional from us, and I think that my clients will know the right choice of words and things that has to be done. I believe that he has a right to do, but make sure that the right choice of words and others, it is very important. So we are happy that, and we are very grateful to the committee, grateful for the nation, senior members, people who were advising, calling us what we should do, and we're managing the situation. I think that we are so grateful to them.
I mean, you saw some of the interaction between Nana Tudazi, who led the team, Afenyo Markin and the likes. Do you think that the committee handled the entire process pretty well in a way that would lead to a good conclusion?
Oh, yes. I think that Nana Tudazi, what we were trying to put across is that if we have a right, a constitutional right, it must be exercised. So that was what he was talking about. When you have a right, the Constitution says you can present a client, and he's our client that we have presented him. So he had to speak and say, look, he's protected, he has a right. However, we know he has admitted that the post is from him. So there's no need going into the legalities. I'm sure that is what the ranking was trying to draw our attention, that we should not try to go into the legalities, because the legalities at the end of the day may not inure to both parties. You know, when two people fight, we all get a scar, and it is the prevention. We don't want that scar. That's what. So I'm sure that the leadership has also done very well to see eye to eye with us, and that's why they allowed our apology, and at the end of the day, everything has been brought to successful conclusion.
Thank you very much, Counsel. Victor Kojoga Daudu, part of the legal team for Oliver Barker Vormawor, who appeared before the committee, and ultimately the conclusion is that Oliver apologizes, which he has, and the committee chairman has discharged him, which will mean that this matter is done. We expect that perhaps when the committee presents its report, this may find expression in it. It may be discussed on the floor when all these reports go. But as far as this committee is concerned with Oliver Barker Vormawor, this matter is done, and Oliver Barker Vormawor has apologized. That is the situation from the appointment committee, where today there will be no more vetting, because they just set today aside to deal with these matters, and then they'll go back to the floor and then vote on ministerial nominees. We are also going to join them and see how it goes. My name is Kweku Asante, reporting for JoyNews, Parliament House, Accra.
Thank you, Kweku, for that update from Parliament. Well, thankfully, I still have Alhaji Nusaf Hussein with me. He's former ranking member on Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee. Thank you so much for staying with us here on the JoyNews channel. Now, we've heard the apology of Oliver Barker Vormawor, but we heard from some members of the committee advance the argument that the apology was an afterthought and he should be made to pay for his sins. Do you agree?
Oh, no, I don't agree. I know Oliver Barker Vormawor, if he believed what he was saying, and the conviction, he would have stood by it. I mean, this is a person who pushed some government, and when he was accosted, he did not say that he did not see it. He didn't say what he said or is purported to have said. He stood by it, and then he has to suffer some penalties or inconvenience for it. So I think that because we are in the heat of time, people can take the post of. And so,
unfortunately, Alhaji, you have to position rightly for me because I seem to be losing you intermittently. Please make that point.
I'm saying that we are in an era where there is AI and people can manipulate or change posts of others on Facebook. And so it is like post, and the committee agrees, with his explanation, then that ends the matter. All goes to show that we are still on a journey to cover whether or not Parliament, when they are vetting committee, then as the vetting committee, member committee are influenced one way or the other. We are still on the search to determine that.
One would argue that if Parliament fails to crop the whip this time, every other person can decide to disrespect Parliament and just come up before it and apologize. You disagree?
No. If you do so willfully or recklessly, you will have to pay the penalty for it. I mean, you must have real reason and evidence to disparage Parliament in the face of the public. I mean, you cannot do that if you simply have no evidence to back your claim. And people who will recklessly do that will suffer the penalty for it.
Thank you so much for your time here on the JoyNews channel. Now, away from Parliament, if you just tuned in, we are officially giving you updates from Parliament's Appointment Committee sitting earlier today that indeed activist Oliver Vormawor has apologized to the committee for the comments he posted on social media. He also went ahead to state that the second comment that has been attributed to him was actually not uttered by him. Now, away from Parliament, the Central Regional Health Directorate is worried about a surge in cholera cases in Cape Coast Municipality as inconsistent water supply continues to affect communities there. Health officials warn that if immediate measures are not taken to resolve the situation, hundreds of residents could be at risk of infection. Dr. Jojo Kobna is Deputy Director of Public Health in the Central Region.
It's one of the contributing factors to water plays a very important role in ensuring hygienic environments. And virtually, cholera thrives in the absence of good hygiene. So in the absence of water, people might not get water to flush their toilet. People might not get water to wash their hands. People might not get water to clean their vegetables properly, and even the disposal of waste at some point might require water, and if we don't have water, all these activities become compromised. So one of the major preventive measures we advocate for is hand washing. So imagine we don't have hand washing facilities at various points where people aggregate. It becomes difficult to contain and then eliminate the cholera situation. So I think what we should do is that the leadership of our communities, our municipalities, our districts should, as a matter of urgency, take steps to ensure the provision of water to these communities. This will mean that we need to bring in tankers with water from places that have water to come and support these communities who are not having water until such time that the adequacy of water in their communities are restored.
Well, residents of Ekumfi in the Central Region are asking government to prioritize the development of the area, emphasizing the need for better infrastructure, health and job creation. Now, despite loyalty to the governing National Democratic Congress, the residents say they feel neglected in terms of development and appointments of indigents to key government positions. There's more in this report by Eric Asante.
Ekumfi in the Central Region is known for its agricultural contributions, including pineapple farming. It is the home of the former president, the late John Evans Fifi Atta Mills. Residents say the area holds great potentials for further growth if infrastructure challenges are resolved. Top on their scale of preference is a sea defense wall, improved healthcare, and appointment of qualified indigents to key positions.
Vice President, na Jopo Kwajiman. Oshia border say ya boama NDC ame kuno for no tempe fla. Ekuvina kwa ya ha kasepa ha woye ni u ka say mbebu woye youth. Ya ka say when na wo gwa kwantuma wole adwuma because say ya was sea defense another ye wo wife ko ma anka yeso ya adwuma titi ya wo ha na afele adwuma. Ya ba say John Mama, ya ba say another Roma. Wa share border so we na obotum na wa me sea defense e wo yekoma ha ya go prada mo wa wi na awie se ba se joma ma de ombo ye na mebu so ye adwuma ye wo ekufi na kwa bibi ba bu so e ba san e na ye na afarifu wo ye premise of nkwapo ye yimbi de wa ye bida na bredo premise otumo ba na ye ba bi ye fongu wa be ye yimbi so obotum wa ye no so fu we se no mo madia no mbo ye okwa do a ye be ye bi da kwapo.
Apart from the sea defense wall, the residents expressed concerns over the poor road network, which they say continues to affect transportation and economic activities.
Yeah, too about the man NDC papa. And I'm there, young how Dawson. But more the Titrupa Pede, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Obey Mahapani road network. Most of the roads are over confining and papa. On Thai roads, Sunquete, it's your best threaded. Also akwanya Ministry of Road so wachecha akwanya wo Ghana won kaya kumfi no mo hwe kumfi road network ne ma he ye drivers wo branka sangasa wo koku wo bape nane wo mankasim na pele ba kumfi a adesa wo ma because of the road network ninti ebu obaba so a ebu odo charge no wa atodo because oba onye bi sanfa nko because road network ni na anye che be sere His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the road minister appointing the so what roads were Ghana one kaya kumfi ye here roads pa.
In addition to the road infrastructure concerns, the residents highlighted the urgent need for improved healthcare facilities. They noted that access to quality medical care is limited, forcing many to travel long distances for basic healthcare services.
Kindly pleading on the government to help us improve the health conditions of Ekumfi. An example is the Enakwa Polyclinic. This is the brainchild of His Excellency. I think the polyclinic, everything started under him. And unfortunately, he left power. So when we talk about the bringing in of the materials at the hospital, it was not under his tent. So when you go inside, the laboratory, everything is a bit smaller. Bedding is also small. The staff accommodation is not in a good state as we speak. So we are appealing and pleading with the president that since he has come back to office, his handwriting, he should kindly provide us with an accommodation for our staffs and then the doctor, the one in charge. And that's one most thing we need for the development of Ekumfi.
According to the residents, Ekumfi has stayed loyal to the NDC since the inception of multi-party democracy. They are therefore appealing to the president to honor the late President John Evans Atta Mills with some appointment of qualified indigents of Ekumfi to champion the development agenda of the area.
His Excellency, you know there are a lot of appointments ongoing. Ekumfi is your second constituency. This is the constituency where your father hails. His Excellency, the late Professor John Evans Atta Mills. His Excellency, we are appealing with you to give us the consideration in your appointment. Our MP, Honorable Dr. Ekokwenu, is a PhD holder. And such a person is a learned person. When you fix him anywhere, it will be much better for the development of a country.
The best John Dramani Mahama say, be our teacher appointment, or ye ministers, or ye directors, the best nala on Kaya Kumfi, because a Kufu a teacher be brea. So the damage be any be manwa, over to my friend, Wabo Kumfi youth. Because youth I work Kumfi, ye brepa.
Let's head now to the Western region, where it was a tale of mixed reactions when chiefs of Ahanta met President John Dramani Mahama to thank him for appointing Joseph Nelson as the Western Regional Minister. The meeting, however, turned into a long-standing controversy surrounding a statue of former President Akufo-Addo. Nana Kwesi Agyeman, the fourth, the chief of Lower Diskov, clarified his involvement in unveiling of the statue, which has sparked debate since his installation. There's more in the following report.
The press conference was held primarily to thank President Mahama for appointing an Ahanta native, Joseph Nelson, as Western Regional Minister, but the chief of Lower Diskov, Nana Kwesi Agyeman, used the occasion to address the lingering questions surrounding the statue of former President Akufo-Addo.
I knew that we were going to say thank you. We were going to thank him for at least some of the projects that he has initiated. We were going to thank him. After all, he's our president. I didn't know we were going to thank him by making a statue for him. That's what I didn't know. I had no idea until I came where the program was going to take place. I realized that it was a thank you material there was a statue. Until that time, I didn't know. I neither contributed nor discussed at any meeting about the construction of
the statue mounted in the Western region during President Akufo-Addo's presidency has been the subject of public scrutiny. Many questioned its funding and purpose, with some attributing it to contribution from Nananom. While addressing the statue, the chief shifted focus back to the region's gratitude for President Mahama's appointment of Joseph Nelson.
We are so happy with this appointment because we know he'll be able to serve us. We know he's disciplined and very respectful. And looking at the history of this country, especially that of Western region, this is but the second time or so that an indigene of Ahanta is being selected to be the regional minister. And so we are so proud and so happy for this appointment.
Despite the appreciation, Nana Kwesi Agyeman did not shy away from highlighting the Western region's challenges, particularly the poor state of its roads.
Look through the city. You cannot even be proud of any one major road. Our major problem is our roads, which we need the government to pay attention to. Because if you look at what we do, what we contribute to the development of this nation, we should not be having these rules.
For Joy News, in Athalia Kwansa, Western Region.
Away from the Western region, the Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, Professor Ahmed Jinapo Abdullahi, has underscored the critical role technical and vocational education will play in the implementation of the 24-hour economy agenda by government. Now, speaking at the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana conference in Suyan, Professor Abdullahi said programs of study at technical institutions require support to be marketable, and he underscored the need that employment orientation is actually key. There's more in the following report.
The 49th Delegates Congress of the Technical University Teachers Association of Ghana, TUTAG, in Sunyani to dialogue on issues of concern was under the theme Technical University Governance, Strengthening Partnership for Institutional Growth. In his address, the president of TUTAG, Professor Uriah Tete, said they recognize the necessity of fostering collaborations between government, unions, management, and the private sector to maximize the scarce resources available to pursue institutional mission. He called on the government and organized labor to work decisively.
By strengthening partnerships, we can overcome challenges and achieve our collective vision for a stronger technical university system. To this end, we humbly call on the government to take immediate steps to constitute the governing councils of our tertiary institutions. The absence of governing councils undermines decision-making and stifles growth. appointing visionary, business-oriented, and mission-aligned council members is essential to fostering an environment where technical universities can thrive. With the new Minister of Finance in office, we urge organized labor to immediately initiate negotiations on the basic salary for our members.
Director General of the Ghana Tertiary Education Commission, GTEC, Professor Ahmed Jinapo Abdullahi, announced the introduction of the Accreditation Management Information System to eliminate paper processing and expedite accreditation documents. He said technical education has a role in the government's 24-hour economy agenda, requiring a shift in traditional academic work.
You cannot be more productive in an economy that is not hinged on industrialization. And industrialization, as we know, the bedrock of it is through technical and vocational education. And technical universities have a critical role in owning technical and vocational education and also being able to put it at a pedestal that will enhance productivity. You cannot have an all-year, all-day round economy if the drivers of that agenda, be it technical and vocational education, are not supported. So we are very, very hopeful that technical education will be taken to a certain level, a level that will feed into this audacious agenda of a 24-hour economy. In terms of programs that they roll out, should be programs that are not traditional, but programs that are market employment oriented.
The Vice Chancellor of Sunyani Technical University, Professor Kwadwo Krapia, cherished the impact of their collaboration with the industry.
Our coherence has yielded the building of a strong institution, which includes a very reliable partnership with industry. Our collaborations with industry partners have led to the development of cutting-edge research projects and practical solutions that address real-world challenges.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Sunyani.
Let's head now to the Ashanti region, where to mitigate the environmental impact of carbon dioxide emissions, the Research for Development, Innovation and Agriculture and Learning has developed and launched a new grains and rice thresher in the Ejura Setredumasi municipality of the Ashanti region, with Ejura Setredumasi previously relying heavily on single crop threshers powered by fossil fuels. Now, because of the introduction of the multi-crop clean energy powered threshing technology, this is expected to ensure that the current trend is shifted and promote more sustainable farming practices in the region. There's more in this report by Mahmoud Nuruddin.
So what happens is the panel brings the power, the DC power, to these inverters. These inverters, what happens is convert the DC power into AC power and also supply these batteries for storage purposes. So in case there are cloudy conditions or during the night, the battery takes over. Then also feeds the rest to the output, which is the thresher machine that is going to operate, be operated.
The solar-powered thresher has replaced the diesel-run model, utilizing clean energy to thresh crops while promoting sustainable, climate-friendly, renewable energy use and reducing operational cost. It aims to facilitate the transition from fossil fuels to cleaner energy sources for threshing and alleviate the labor-intensive task associated with diesel-powered threshers. This innovation will help farmers more efficiently prepare their produce for market. Aramani Tewia from E-Powers Construction explains how the solar energy is captured and stored for use.
This system has been built intelligently in order to cut when there is an overvoltage, undervoltage, and also other faults that the system is able to detect whenever there is a challenge. These batteries you see here are highly intelligent battery that has a Wi-Fi connected port to the inverter, which makes it possible for them to communicate. In case there is battery or one of the batteries is falling, one of the battery is able to give its power, some of its power, to other battery so that they can all work equally. Like you can see, these batteries are connected, they are parallelly connected here. That makes it very unique and also makes it very good in terms of working hand in hand with the inverters.
The system will last between 20 and 30 years of usage.
This system is built to last for about 6 hours every day. That can be able to help these farmers in order to thresh their maize, their millet, their sorghum, and other cereals they currently farm over here. These batteries is also, as I stated, helping them in order to actually save them power so that during the night and cloudy condition, they can be able to use it. This system will last for the next 20 to 30 years for them to use.
The solar-powered thresher will be managed by the Post-Redial Management Committee to ensure that beneficiaries of the project continue to benefit from the gains of the project. The Redial Monitoring and Evaluation Officer, Faustina Povo, says the introduction of the solar system is part of the collective efforts of sustainable agriculture and climate action.
The REDA project introducing the thresher is aimed at contributing to lower emissions. As we are all aware, emissions is on the rise, and one of the key contributors is fossil fuel. And so our existing thresher, although it's delivering the results we want it to deliver, uses fossil fuel, which is a contributor to climate emissions. And so the introduction of the solar is to harness the benefits of green energy, which would ensure that the production and the threshing services are done without emissions.
Faustina also states that the Redial project has been instrumental in introducing innovative solutions for smallholder farmers.
We've also trained farmers across our project zones on climate-smart agriculture, including organic compost, organic fertilizer production, how to adopt sustainable land management practices, reduce land clearing, restore their lands, and also adopt methods like mulching that will ensure that emission and then soil nutrients are harnessed and emission is reduced.
Ejuraseche Dumasi Municipal Crop Officer Anthony Koye says the thresher came at the right time.
So we need to emphasize the fact that there is presently a climate change which brings adverse effects on the crop production. And so with the advent of this solar-powered thresher, it is going to play down the adverse effects of the climate change on food production in the district.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama is asking African leaders to prioritize women and young people in leadership, and he wants that to be very important because he stresses that the importance of having them in advancing Africa's progress is key. While speaking at a high-level retreat on African Union institutional reforms held at Kenya's State House in Nairobi, President John Dramani Mahama also said that over-reliance on foreign partners comprises and compromises African Union's independence. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Akpokwa has more in this report.
President John Mahama was welcomed to Kenya's State House with the Ghana national anthem as he joined Kenya's president and other African leaders at the high-level African Union institutional reforms retreat. In his speech, President John Mahama urged African leaders to prioritize the inclusion of women and young people in leadership roles. He stressed the importance of having them in advancing Africa's progress.
Africa's future lies in its youth. Over 60% of our population is under the age of 25, and yet their voices are largely absent in policymaking. We must institutionalize frameworks that empower our young people and our women to lead at all levels of governance. And I'm happy to report that in the last election, for the first time in Ghana's history, we elected a woman as our vice president. The energy of our youth, creativity, and vision are the drivers of the Africa that we all seek to build.
President Mahama said the over-reliance on foreign partners compromises African Union's independence. He said the AU should fast-track efforts towards financial independence.
Your Excellencies, one of the fundamental pillars of reform is AU's financial autonomy. The over-reliance on external partners for funding compromises the organization's independence and ability to set its own agenda. The implementation of the Kigali decision on financing the Union must be expedited. A self-reliant African Union is not just a vision we have, it is an imperative to achieve.
President Mahama also called on the African Union to prioritize funding for the African Union Standby Force to strengthen its ability to respond to crises and conflicts across the continent, and the critical role of the force in addressing pressing challenges, including the growing threat of terrorism.
Your Excellencies, without peace, there can be no development. The AU must strengthen its capacity to prevent, mediate, and resolve conflicts. This includes adequately resourcing the African Standby Force and leveraging partnerships to address emergency threats such as terrorism, cybercrime, and climate-induced displacements. Indeed, this is very important for us, especially in West Africa, considering the challenge we face from terrorism.
Kenya's president, who is a champion of the African Union institutional reforms, raised concerns about rising terrorism in Africa and called for joint efforts to deal with it.
It is absolutely necessary at this point in time for Africa Union to reimagine, rethink, reorganize our peace and security architecture. As things stand today, Africa is a big theater of conflict and, unfortunately, terrorism. And our response has been uncoordinated, under-resourced, and not very well planned. Therefore, we have recommended that a high-level panel interrogate our peace and security infrastructure, including the envoys across the continent, the infrastructure around the Africa Union Commission.
You're still watching JoyNews Today. We'll be back with business updates. Please stay tuned in. And just before we bring you business updates, it's a good time to take you to the Ashanti region because aggrieved parents and students, they have besieged WAEC office in Kumasi over withheld results. My colleague is live on the ground. He joins me live with more. Thank you so much, Nana. What can you report?
Well, firstly, we are live from the Ashanti Regional WAEC office. This morning, we had an information that parents and aggrieved students had besieged the office of the WAEC, demanding that their withheld results from the West African examination, the exam that they went through last year, be released to them. Their results have been withheld for quite some time now. This morning, the parents and the students received a message from WAEC to report to the office so that they can actually give a testimony as to whether or not they participated in any form of examination malpractice. This led to the parents and the students coming in to demand answers from the authorities over here. Well, they came in as early as 8 a.m. demanding that WAEC releases the results of these students for them. The most affected students are students from TI and Midday Senior High School in the Ashanti region, where we are being told that over 2,000 students who went through the WAEC examination last year have their results withheld, demanding that the West African Examination Council, especially the one in the Ashanti region, gives out their results. We are being told that mathematics is the problem right now, and then it is a requirement for these students to go through the university. Maths is a requirement when they are seeking for admission in various universities. And so if their mathematics is being withheld, it is going to be very difficult for them to proceed to apply for any admission in any form of university whatsoever. And so this morning, the parents had to take it upon themselves to come here, even upon the request of WAEC, to demand that the results be released to their so that has been the concerns of the parents as they besiege the office or the Ashanti Regional Office of the West African Examination Council.
And so far, I'll let you speak to the parents shortly. I just want to find out if any official from WAEC has addressed their concerns so far.
Well, the officials have indeed spoken to the parents earlier on. They were addressing them from the top, that is from the main office, while the parents were down here. The concern of the officials is that they have called the students to come and write a report to indicate whether or not they engaged in any form of examination or practice, or whether or not the allegations leveled against them, to which their results have been withheld, are true or not. The parents are saying that before they will allow their children to go through that particular report or pen down their report, they would want to also go through the same process with their awards. And that is what brought some form of agitations over here, putting the process on hold. Now, the concern is that they want the results to be released to their children. But then the officials are saying that the children have to go through the results writing, after which a further investigation will be carried on, and then a determination will be made as to whether or not they would release their results to them any moment from now. And that has been the agitations of the parents and also the concerns from the authorities. I would also want us to hear from the parents themselves firstly, because they are the main stakeholders in this whole situation that we are talking about. A man here has his word at TI Ahmadiyya Senior High School, and he has been complaining. Can you share with us what actually led to you coming here this morning?
I was given a message through WAEC that they want us on this 29th January to come and just witness what is going on at the WAEC regional office. I started my journey from Yendi as early as almost 4:30. Yes, I was in Kumasi here. After prayers, I just walked to the WAEC office. We sat there up to 10 o'clock, thereabouts, and the officials just gathered at Hall 4. In that hall, no meaningful results have been gotten gathered. We couldn't achieve our objectives. They couldn't tell us meaningful message. So that is why we are agitating that either to release the results or to cancel the results for us to know what is going to happen. And they haven't told us anything.
Exactly. So, firstly, just as you heard the man say, he says that he came here from Yendi as early as 4 a.m. and he went through his prayers, came to the office. And as he got here, there hasn't been any resolution whatsoever. They are demanding that WAEC releases the results or they cancel the results for the students to go through the examination again. Because if they do not cancel the results and continue to hold on to the results, it will be difficult for the awards to go through any application for it to seek admission in any form of university. And that is the concern here. I can see that far from me, the authorities are addressing the press. They are sharing with us what they will be doing next from here. I want us to get closer so we can also get to hear from the authorities themselves. But firstly, we are here. The students are resisting to write a statement, and the parents are also doing the same. They say that they want the authorities to release the result or cancel it so that the awards can go through the entire process again.
Okay.
This is the Ashanti Regional WAEC office, and you can see the officials addressing the press.
Adam, in subsequent bulletins would ensure we get that response from WAEC officials as they try to address the concerns of parents. Let's listen in.
And then tell them that they will keep their voice for us to be able to do this exercise. If you stand by your child, are you going to teach your child that write this? No, whatever your child writes, it's what your child is going to write. In the examination room itself, if a candidate is called red-handed, there is no parents there. It is only the invigilator, the supervisor, okay? The invigilator, the supervisor, they are there, and then the examiner or the inspector who came for that candidate to write the report. There is no parents there. You get me? But this is a situation where it's a collusion. That collusion, that is the way and manner.
Okay, but for now, the exercise has
Unfortunately, we don't have clear connection there, but in subsequent bulletins, we'll bring you that response from WAEC. They've been addressing the concerns of some parents who have besieged their premises in the Ashanti region, demanding that some resorts be released to their wards. Now it's time for business, and Winston is in the studio. Winston, what should we expect?
Thank you, Faustin. Now in business, the newly appointed Chief Executive of Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abbey, has stated that farmers will be priority in the financial issues of the board. He explained that there is an urgent need to redirect the finances of Cocoa Board to compensate farmers for cultivating their product.
Engaging stakeholders for the first time after his appointment, Dr. Randy Abbey told farmers they will be the focus of Cocoa Board. He assured that farmers will be constantly consulted to seek their input in decision making.
They are the practitioners. They've been involved in this for decades, and in every policy that we craft, in any decision that we take, we need to have their inputs. And so, I mean, they ought to be central in our decision making. And we also need to prioritize their welfare. And so that's what I mean by putting the cocoa farmer at the center of what we do here.
In addition to the plants, Dr. Abbey announced that he intends to start large-scale farming to help curtail the declining production.
Well, there are some things that have been started. For example, the issue of rehabilitation of some of the farms. We need to intensify that. We first of all need to fully understand what is going on and to intensify it as well. We need to work together with the farmers to see how we can increase that. There's also the issue of also prioritizing large-scale farming. If you look at Cote d'Ivoire and some of the Southern American countries, there's a certain focus on large-scale farming. So yes, we have depended on our cocoa farmers who do a lot more small-scale for decades. I think that we also need to begin to prioritize large-scale farming, whilst we're also looking at the aging farms. We are rehabilitating the diseased trees and all that. We need to seriously look at how we can incentivize people to collaborate with us to get into large-scale cocoa farming, to also augment what our hard-working farmers have done for this country for decades.
The spokesperson of the Ghana Cocoa Coffee Shea Nut Farmers Association, Imoro Isifu Al-Hassan, outlined some areas that must be quickly looked at to restore growth in the cocoa sector.
However, you have come at a time the cocoa, coffee and shea nut sectors are facing huge challenges that must be tackled immediately. The challenges include, but not limited to, declining production, low incomes for farmers, persistent threats from pests and disease on the farms. Another major threat that has significantly affected cocoa production is galamsey. These issues and others remain critical priorities for us, and we look forward to working closely with your office to tackle them effectively. Cocoa production, as you have indicated, is at its lowest ebb, unprecedented in the annals of cocoa production in Ghana. From a production level of over 1 million tons to below 500,000 tons as we speak is sickening. For production to sink this low calls for urgent need to tackle these challenges head on.
That's all for business here on JoyNews Today. My name is Winston Taki. Fosti standing by to wrap up the rest of the story. Fosti.
Yeah, thank you so much, Winston, for bringing us that updates. And that's how we wrap up the bulletin. Please, for more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Good afternoon.